Hey everybody, and this is another 5 bad predictions. So, let me first start off with a quote by Steve Jobs, who said this in 2003. And he basically said, "The subscription model of buying music is bankrupt." So, in some ways he nailed this one on the head, and in some ways he didn't. So, while he is correct that the standard model of buying music has changed dramatically in its shift from purchasing of albums to, nowadays people just purchase single songs, it seems like he didn't forecast necessarily that renting of music would actually like supersede owning it. So this has been filled by companies such as Pandora and Spotify, where if you want to listen to a song, you don't buy it. You just maybe pay for a subscription where you don't actually own any property. I'm not sure exact. That's what I understood when he said subscription model of buying music is bankrupt. He could have meant, the same type of way like albums and stuff, in which case he would be right. And then, so let me, next quote is New York Times, by New York Times 1936, "A rocket will never be able to leave the Earth's atmosphere." So this prediction was just plain old wrong and short-sighted from a 21st century perspective, seeing as how spaceflight had been a thing of science fiction and fantasy for hundreds of years, and the technical march up and rate of progression in history at that time, up to that time, would have, suggested as much. However, if I were to imagine this as someone from the 1800s or even earlier, the idea of spaceflight to me would just be, crazy, right? Like, how am I going to get from off the ground into space, safely and then make it back down? That's pretty crazy. So the idea that we can come from just using sticks and sharpen objects in our nearby surroundings as weapons and tools, to harnessing different materials from all around the globe, to make a spaceship, you need so many materials from all over, and engineers and scientists, everybody working as a team. It's pretty amazing. So I don't blame him for getting it wrong. So the next quote is, "There's just not that many videos I want to watch," said Steve Chen, CTO and co-founder of YouTube, expressing concerns about his company's long-term viability in 2005. So this quote once again shows the inability to truly foresee the value or interest of something, especially when the thing you're trying to showcase is the first of its kind. So, YouTube in a lot of ways was the first really repository of videos and really information. It's awesome. I learn on it all the time. So basically it also shows that it's also important to consider how other people will perceive something and not just you, because you may be an outlier in that sense. Brings us to our next quote, which is by Arthur Summerfield, the U.S. Postmaster General in 1959. "Before man reaches the moon, your mail will be delivered within hours from New York to Australia by guided missiles. We stand on the threshold of rocket mail." So I like this quote because it's super funny, and I like the fact that he made bold claims. He really believed in rocket mail, and I think he was right in a way, because if you think about an airplane, the way it's delivered nowadays, I mean, it wasn't as widespread back then. I'm sure that they did have airplanes, but the widespread mail delivery system, an airplane is pretty much a rocket, a directed rocket. Energy comes out of these big old turbines. I mean, it's not rocket fuel, but he also didn't understand the economic feasibility of it. So anyhow, I'm running out of time here, so this brings us to our next quote by Edison. So Edison predicted that God has even now but a few years to live. The day is near when bars of it will be gold. I'm sorry, not God. Gold has even now but a few years to live. The day is near when bars of it will be as common and cheap as bars of iron and blocks of steel. We're already on the verge of discovering the secret of transmuting metals, which are all substantially the same in matter, though combined in different proportions. Before long, it will be an easy matter to convert a truckload of iron bars into as many bars of virgin gold. So this seems to be a page out of the old alchemy textbooks, but Edison was no ordinary fellow either. He was, an acclaimed scientist, put humanity forward leaps and bounds. However, while it is possible to transmute metals, making the sorcerers and wizards of medieval alchemy want to jump from their graves and shout, "I told you so," to the non-believers, it is simply not economically feasible. So he was right that it was possible, but it would never be economically feasible. Thank you.